to the first video of the Med Podcast. I'm here with your host, Macy, David, and of course me. You don't need to know my name.
My name is Edward.
Holy fuck. All right.
I'm with your host, Macy, David, and me, so we're all the same person.
There we go. Okay, everybody. So you know that this month is October. Halloween's coming on the 31st, and obviously it's the spooky season. So what's more spooky than relationships? Clearly, because they're very, very, very scary, especially infidelity. We'll get into that topic later, but we're just gonna start from past experience, what we think about relationships and what we think could have been better about a lot of them, because we still have a lot of to learn as ourselves as humans. So does anyone want to start us off, or
Not it.
this isn't a nose go situation, David?
Nose goes.
I've had my nose on since the womb, sorry.
Same. Go ahead, Mason.
I touched my nose when I said it.
I've had it since the womb, sorry.
Share your camera. All right. Go ahead, guys. Come on. When you're professional.
All right, well, I'll just start. Relationships are okay if they go well, but if they go sideways, then of course they're going to be the worst thing in the world. With my past experiences, would I say that I've had a good life in relationships? No, not really. But there's always a future. You just have to keep moving forward. It may seem like your life is crumbling and that you have no escape and that depression and suicide is the only answer, but not really, because I found a way to make my feelings not hurt. I just stopped talking to people and just stopped caring about people. And it worked for a while, but then I realized that I kind of need people in my life. So, I just have a switch that I turn on and off whenever I just want to be alone or whenever I want to be with someone. So it all depends on what you want, who you're looking for. Always remember that you're a prize and you shouldn't go with the first person that comes to you. Always think about things before you jump into a relationship. And that's my opinion so far, I guess.
All right. There's a lot to unpack there, but we'll just go around to see how everyone is first. Macy, did you want to go? Or?
I want to respond really quick, because when you were saying all the things, you were feels like your life is crumbling and you're gonna die, and depression, and I honestly expected you to just stop there. I'm sorry. But that's aside from the point. It just reminded me of a meme. Relationships are whack, bro. Currently can't talk smack because fiesta.
You should specify that you are in a relationship currently with one of the hosts, not me.
I mean, you can talk smack about relationships. I think what's said in the podcast stays in the podcast, like I said prior.
I mean, yeah,
I'm not gonna
right now I don't have anything to smack, but past, I can definitely say there's a lot of stuff that goes down with relationships, and I think a lot of it is just based on maturity if the two people are less or more, I guess, to each their own. To the people in the relationship, because I don't know, when I was younger, I always kind of ended up in stuff because I was really immature and I didn't know how to say no, and I was just too soft. And then some things in the past that have been other people are just really immature, and what could easily work out didn't, because it's just sort of a thing that you have to grow into. It's not really something you can just be good at from the womb. So it's a learning process for everybody, and I think your opinion of relationships really bases itself off of how well you've developed that skill and maturity. Now I'm going to take off my TED Talk hat, so go ahead.
Okay. For me, relationships, I just want to say I'm not really one of those fanatics who goes on and off in relationships. In fact, I'm very selective when it comes to relationships. I'm not to the point where I have to pinpoint certain attributes about a partner or someone specific to see if they match that quality or whatever. But I'm not someone who just likes to just point out who I just want to date and then go after. I do admit that past relationships have taught me it's very hard to kind of be dedicated to somebody, especially at a very young age when you're still learning to be true to yourself. You kind of can't be true to someone else, but you know, obviously, like you did mention, it is a learning when it comes to it. And I think like it's never too young to learn about dating somebody. I do think at certain extents, though, that if you do feel like it's not working out, you shouldn't keep yourself in that relationship, especially if like, you know, it could be better. If something could definitely be better for you, you want to take that opportunity and, you know, don't try to burn the bridge as fast as you can. You know, use that kind of bridge as sort of a rehabilitating for yourself. See if you can learn anything from it. And who knows, maybe even in the future, if you need that like friend or that ex or whatever that person is, if you needed them for any sort of, I guess, consolidation, you know, you still have them in connection with you. So it's never good to do anything bad to anybody, I want to say. Clearly, I can't speak for everybody, but you shouldn't be bad in general to anybody. And your personality clearly is what makes you you. And a lot of people tend to say that they don't care about personality, or they more so like want looks over anything else. But at the end of the day, you know, it is about personality, because looks are very superficial to some extent. And personality is really what makes you you. So, all right, David, you like typing up a storm? Making up a script, buddy?
I mean, I'm just writing everything down before you say it, like you told me to.
Oh, I mean, you didn't have to. Like I said, you don't have to write a script.
I'm writing what you're saying. This is scripted.
Why? Why are you writing everything I'm saying?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just writing my story. What were we talking about?
Amazing banter here.
Look at this guy. All right, guys, let's take a 15-minute reset. No, we won't. We'll recollect our thoughts now. So now that we got introductions out of the way, I guess we could just get right into like the meat and potatoes, so to speak. Thanksgiving, by the way. Can't wait. But
I can wait.
Spooky season. Let spooky season live, or just go straight to Christmas. There's no in between.
I feel like we have to address sort of like the liabilities with October, first of all. Come on, guys. We can't have like razor blades and candies. This is ridiculous. Like, it's stupid that even was a thing. Jesus Christ.
Just saying happy National Dinosaur Month.
Oh my God.
And breast cancer is a real problem.
Yes, it is. I actually went on Twitter one time and saw that it was Breast Cancer Awareness Day.
Women suffer from it. I have pink rubber bands in my mouth because I wanted my dentist to donate $5. It's a real thing, guys. Like, don't take cancer lightly.
All right.
We drop this podcast.
I have like nothing to say to that. David, why are you still typing? What are you doing?
Didn't I just say that I was writing my story?
You said you were scripting. You didn't say that you're writing a story.
Okay, well, once you start editing the video, you'll see that I'm right. Anyway.
Look at this dude. Edit this video. I'm not editing it. I'm just throwing it up there.
Oh, nice.
Gucci.
Is this just about like relationships, like love, or is it also about like friends and family? And
Well, yeah, just relationship in general.
okay, well, since you guys brought up Thanksgiving, let me bring the mood down. So I can wait for Thanksgiving because, unlike you guys who actually have a family, I live with my dad and he's gonna be fine. So I'm gonna be here by myself, chilling out, eating probably Burger King. So you know what? That's cool.
Well, I mean, like, I'm not getting into the logistics, but come on. Like, you make it sound like our parents love each other. Hello.
That's a funny joke, bro. I haven't had a real Thanksgiving since like 4th grade.
Well, let me burst your bubble real quick, but you guys have a partner now, which you guys can go to a gas station and get some chips and just lie under the stars and be like,
That is
Happy Thanksgiving.
another lie. We might not even be able to do that.
no, you will.
No, probably.
Relationships are good to have, even if it's not for personal gain. You could always have someone in your life, but most of the time, it's like, if you find the person that you love, that's great. Hold on to them, but always be wary because you never know when they're gonna betray you. But don't always look for a reason to be like, we're breaking up. Just be wary. And who knows? Maybe you'll find your Brad to your McKenna, and possibly be happy.
Lee. Also, you said when. Are people supposed to expect getting betrayed? Are they supposed to anticipate? Am I supposed to be worried?
I said, as I said earlier, don't just look in the relationship and be like, okay, we're breaking up whenever something bad happens.
That was
Analyze, be ready, take charge, and always be wary.
I like to say you did bring up a really good point in the spirit of spooky season of betrayal and infidelity. So maybe a good topic might be like justification of infidelity. Like,
What's infidelity?
Cheating, essentially.
Ew, that's gross.
yeah. Why don't we like all discuss what makes infidelity justifiable, if at all?
None.
Oh, okay. You want to expand on that?
No.
All right.
I mean, okay. Cheating is something that is pretty bad. Back when I used to be nicer, I used to always say I'd never have an affair with someone or be part of an affair. I would never cheat on someone. I haven't cheated on anyone, but I did get into a relationship, which now I wish I never did. Does it still haunt me? Not really. I don't really care anymore, but is it a mistake that I'll choose to like haunt myself about? Probably. I mean, there's nothing scarier than being faced with the problems that you are expected to happen. And the way you handle them could either make you lose a friend, have problems in a relationship, or possibly death. So
Jesus.
All right, just like allow me to reiterate very quickly is that because we are touching like on a very sensitive topic, infidelity of any kind is kind of like David, you were into the Bible. That shit's a sin in its own. And honestly, like whoever decides to ever watch this is or probably has had an experience with infidelity, and clearly, you know, they're trying to find means, not justifying it, but trying to find justice for themselves to see why their partner did what they did. And yeah, you know, speaking from like an oppressive or maybe even just from like the victim side, whatever side that you can just elaborate on, it is kind of like ideal to discuss both just to see like why. I can say from personal experience, I haven't had any twist with infidelity. I like to assume that infidelity really isn't something that, you know, is part of my personality. It's not something that I want to do or even consider doing. Clearly, like people who go into relationships, they have a hard time staying committed for reasons that I've since learned is because of boredom or things that they have a lack of. And yes, like sometimes their partners aren't able to give or even like provide what they want. But, you know, being or just even enacting upon infidelity is very like weird and kind of disgusting to me. If you don't like your partner or what they provide, you might as well just talk to them, like just have a face-to-face and just say like why they can't provide what you want. And sometimes you tend to learn that even out of boredom of relationships, like just getting into another relationship doesn't automatically mean that you have a healthy relationship going on with that person. It clearly turns into what you feared most or the reason why you cheated and did what you did. So, you know, there's sometimes a point where you don't have to cheat. And plus, like the older you get, it's more about trust and commitment than just having fun. So,
And a lot of times when people cheat because they feel like they're not getting like everything out of their relationship or they're bored or whatever, even when they go to like cheat and they do that or they like move on from that relationship, most of the time they don't find solace in any kind of new relationship because most of the time the issues that they're facing and they're trying to run away from are internal. Like a lot of times people find themselves unhappy in a relationship not because their partner but because of themselves, and it's not like in any kind of way, but just a lot of people when they're unhappy or when they don't know what they want can kind of put that on the partner. And when you're not being responsible in your relationship, it's very easy to just kind of run away from that and just blame it on another person and try to hide from it by cheating, which is totally uncool and it doesn't benefit literally anybody. And it's just kind of running away from the problem. So
I liked what you both said, and especially at bringing up me being close to the Bible. Honesty is one of the best, and if not the best, key to a relationship, because Christ told his followers that a house made on sand will never stand. So if you're never honest with your partner, and if you're never forward, even if you make a mistake, if you lie and keep things from them, your relationship is going to be built on lies, and keeping that is going to be hard and stressful enough, not only having to deal with your relationship. So always talk to your partner, even if you made a mistake. Like, for example, you become intoxicated at a bar, a girl kisses you, you kiss back by accident, or not even by accident, maybe because you were feeling good. And then you realize, and then once you get home, or if you don't live together, you call your significant other and you say, hey, look, I just wanted to let you know that I feel terrible. This girl kissed me at a bar and I started kissing back, but then I stopped myself. I feel terrible and I want to let you know because I don't want any secrets or anything bad to happen throughout this relationship. So I just wanted to let you know that this is what happened and it won't happen again. If she gets mad and if she starts cursing you out, then you're done. Like, you did the best thing you could. You told her what was going on. And if she couldn't deal with it, then she's not mature enough to handle the relationship. You doing that is the best thing that you can do. And if she accepts your apology and says that, hey, I thank you for being upfront with me because not that many people would have told me that, then she automatically knows that you're trustworthy and that you are worth it. So honesty is always the best way to enter a relationship. And if you can't do that, then a relationship is not meant for you.
All right, so I just want to quickly say that, like, I appreciate bringing in sort of, I guess, the Bible, take of what Jesus said, but the example I kind of have a problem with. I just want to say the best thing to do in that situation is not to hold integrity by telling them that you kissed the person. It's simply just don't do it. Just like, don't kiss the person to begin with. I know you said that, like, the girl came up to you, but clearly, like, somewhere in that story, if I remember correctly, you said that you, like, kissed back or whatever you decided to do, that you, like, sort of accepted, didn't really say anything. You just went home right after that. Like, it's not to be honest with your partner and telling them that, hey, this random event just happened. It's simply just not allowing it to happen and doing something about it when it does, not just going home and then being like, okay, so this just happened. And if she doesn't take it right, if she starts cursing you out, it's not that it's necessarily done. It's that you have another obstacle that you have to face that clearly you have to look forward to. It's not something you can just forget about and just think to yourself like, okay, I'm just not going to have to deal with it, because it clearly is. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the girl or whatever your significant partner is, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily acting childish. It's just simply that they have the right or the justification of being, like, angry, of being mad at what happened.
Yeah, and I want to add and kind of dispute both of you guys with that. David, when you said, like, if she gets mad and starts cussing you out, she's not mature enough to handle a relationship. To an extent, I can see where you're coming from, but that really does depend on the severity of your sins, so to say. Like, yeah, if some cases, and this is also tying into where I have discourse with you, Eddie, in some cases, sometimes it really isn't something you can help, or it really is just something like pretty minor that just kind of happens before you, like, realize it or whatever, or maybe it's just not something that you recognize, but it might be like something that they would recognize. Or, like, there's a song by Youngblood that's about a girl that gets drunk at a bar and ends up getting brought home by some guy, and then her boyfriend breaks up with her because she was drunk and she got brought home by some guy because she was drunk off of her ass. She had no idea what was going on. Like, there has to be a line drawn between where it's maturity to just accept what happened, where if it's something you couldn't help, or you were just like, yeah, you made a mistake, but it wasn't like a meaning, like a malicious mistake. I don't know where I'm going with this. Or it was like something that was, like, very much calculated, or even just not something you could have avoided but ended up choosing not to. Then there's more of you really have to question the intentions of the relationship, and you really have to rethink, but it's still worth trying to save, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really thinking clearly anymore.
I mean, you're not wrong, because I guess I didn't explain myself well, because the guy I was thinking about was, like, a choir boy who's done nothing wrong in his life and, like, was drunk off his ass with his friends, and this girl just kissed him, and then he kissed her back because, like, he doesn't know better. But of course, like no one is that choir boy that's done nothing wrong and doesn't know better. The world has been corrupted. Poor choice of words, but I haven't had enough relationships to I guess judge anyone. I've only had one true relationship, which only lasted 10 months, which is pretty short. And throughout those 10 months, I was happy for like the first 8, and then the last 2 were just a hellhole. And then we broke up. And I tried being friends with her, and we actually tried getting back together, and you two were there. And she treated me like garbage. And then when I took Edward's advice to be her friend, she told me to, is this a PG-13 or can I curse?
I've already said shit.
Oh, okay. She told me to fuck off, and nothing I can do about it. Like, I'm not gonna like force her to be my friend or anything, because I don't need her to be my friend. I don't really care, because she broke up with her boyfriend, which she dated like 2 or 3 months after we broke up, even though she told me that she would never get back with anyone, or never be with anyone. But that's not the point. I felt bad for her that she broke up with this guy, because she was posting a lot of sad stuff on her Instagram, and it caught my eye because for some reason she was in my little search thing for Instagram. And then I texted her. I said, hey, sorry that your relationship didn't work out. Everything happens for a reason, and I hope you feel better. And then she goes on and says, why are you texting me? And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, that's cool. Like, I mean, like, I don't know what to say. I tried being mature throughout the breakup, and she told me that I was basically firing her, saying that it's not working out, and I'm gonna have to break up with you because, first of all, she cursed out my dad, and then she cursed me out. I don't care what you say about me, but if you bring in my parents and start like cursing them, it's pretty much like over, unless it's like a serious matter, not like I can't pick you up for your birthday. And I don't know, I've only had one relationship, so I can't be the person to be like, well, within my knowledge of relationships. No, like I only been with one person, and I'm not really afraid to admit it.
Wait, so just to like tie back, so that means you didn't date like Emma on the past, this like the 6 to 5 girls that like.
I said true relationship. I dated them.
What do you mean
for like
true? Oh,
because those were like weeks in like a month.
yeah,
I don't think of that as
but
like,
there's still a lesson to be told from doing that. Like, I mean, the lesson of, let me just bring like a personal issue. The lesson of like betrayal. You wanted to add betrayal. What happened to like betraying best friends over girls for like 3 days?
All right, so let's not go down that road, because this is going to end on a very, very not nice fight that I don't want.
Well, no, I'm not trying to. I'm clearly not trying to start a quarrel, but like it's just because I'm not the only one that can relate to that. Clearly, there have been other people. I mean, if we're just gonna say for name's sake, I'm pretty sure David knows who I'm talking about. But there are other people like who experience the exact same thing of like people that they're really close to choose other people that they've known for only a couple days, only to like come back, which is very annoying, might I add. And it's not just David that does this to me. It's a lot of people that do it to me in specific. But it's something like there is a lesson to be learned about people who fall in love for things too quickly and like take sort of no advice to it. It's really, I'm not going to call it ignorance, even though that's like a very easy sort of simple way to go on about it. But like clearly, if there is a big trust boundary, if like a friend sees something wrong with something that you don't, I'm not gonna say specifically a person, but sort of something, anything, if you see something wrong with it, I'm not just gonna tell you to discredit it or even take it fully to the extent, but you should clearly have that sort of power to evaluate for your own self, to see what is going on, what's happening, and what's wrong about it. Like you shouldn't immediately get entranced by it.
Yeah. Let me comment on what you said. Yeah, that's happened many times because love is blindly and a bitch. But the first 6 girls I had, I think 6, Emma, Deanna, Haley, Jessica, Ariana,
Remembers all
and I forgot the 6th one. But I'd say all those are trial runs because they were all like a week or like a month. Haley used me to get to my best friend. Jessica used me, or not used me, but got me away from Haley. So she just wanted to quote unquote date me, so I would get my feelings away from her to Jessica, and then Jessica dumped me. Deanna didn't know how to do a relationship, and when we tried, she kept like leading me on, saying like, "Oh, I'm going to the mall," and when I go to the mall, I'm not there because like her mom is apparently giving birth, but I don't hear of a kid like or see a kid when I go to her house. And yeah, I mean, the whole thing with like Emma, after having so many events, and especially with her, and after the whole Tinder thing, I realized that there's not really a point to fall over someone in like a week or so. Now I have to trust my friends more than any girl I meet until at least I've been with them for a couple months. Like, it's bad of me. Like, it's not okay. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's premature of me to instantly fall into a trance for a girl who I only known for a week and then completely side my friends because of my feelings for this person. So I found out that, like, when I found out, but I finally realized that it was a bad thing to do, and I don't apologize for it. But it's love is a touchy subject, and it will always be a touchy subject, and it would either be a burden or a relief depending on your relationships and your experience. Hopefully it's a relief because most of our viewers have lovely relationships, but we live in a world where that will never be true because relationships will always have trial runs, will always have negativity, and then you'll always find that one person who you think is the true one, and you get fucked. But it's so good. Anyway, you guys can talk now.
All right, like I said, I didn't want to like put you on blast. I just wanted to like add an addition that there is a lesson to be learned there, and like a different type of relationship that I don't think we have discussed it is sort of like on and off again relationships. I've had, I guess, my fair share of that. Simply, it wasn't, I guess, multiple partners. It was just one in specific. But you know what I've learned since from then, I just want to say is that on and off relationships, I don't think work. And like as simple as I can make it, they don't work for a reason. And I don't think convincing or trying to convince yourself that it does anything for anybody. And in fact, it sort of makes the relationship kind of dull out. Like I know the whole point of getting into like a new relationship is to like find yourself and see what's different about this other partner or whatever your reason is for getting into a new one. But I can like just reassure anybody who has been in an on and off again relationship that it really does not work. Nothing really changes except different commitments that you swear, quote unquote, that you kind of try to make, but they don't work. And I know that everyone has like their own flaws when it comes to it, but I just want to like acknowledge that people who try to convince themselves, I know I've tried to convince myself one time in the past, and I'm not gonna say as naive as I am, as learning as I was, you know, it was still a very difficult obstacle to get past, but you know, you could still learn something from something like on and off again relationships. And I just wanted to add an addition to that in specific.
I want to respond to that a little bit too, actually, because like
Mine or Ed's?
Ed's.
Okay.
With on and off again relationships, just like a really minor addition. I know when my ex broke up with me, and I was like what you said, David, like I cut off all of my friends essentially for this guy. It was really not a healthy relationship, and I was completely obsessed. He broke up with me, and I was like, so we're just like taking a break, right? I wanted it to be like an off and on again kind of thing because I wasn't ready for that, and he ended up saying like, no, he doesn't really believe in that. And I'm very, very grateful for him, like to him for doing that, just because it helped me kind of realize like if you leave a relationship with expectation that it's going to come back, you don't really grow at all. Like you really have to face yourself when you have no reason to believe that everything's going to be okay. And if you don't, because even when it's not like an expectation so much as just, you know, what's happened before that you've gotten back together, so why wouldn't it happen again? Even if it's not like verbally communicated that it will. Just kind of setting that person as a chapter in your life and then moving on to be a different person because clearly that person wasn't working out, I think is the healthiest way with dealing with relationships, especially at a younger age. Like, as you grow up, I'm sure there are a lot of influences, and even at a young age, there are a lot of influences that cause breakups. So it's not to say that all on and off relationships are unhealthy, but most of the time when it's just based on personal compatibility, or using my own example, mental health, because I was going through a really rough patch and he didn't like dealing with it. Like that's not just a temporary thing. That's more permanent, that you can't really control, and you just need to learn to move on from it and improve yourself.
Okay.
Crickets.
Sorry, it's just a lot of processing to go around.
Sorry.
No, it's completely fine.
I agree with her. I had my own Trevor, and her name was Emma, not the old Emma. This Emma, the new one from this year. Yeah, I fell for a girl, and he knows because this girl started hating him, and then made me leave him. And she tried changing me. She called me a pathological liar. She told me that I was good for nothing. She told Pringle a bunch of lies to try and get him away from me. And it was really bad. And then she kept saying I was a hypocrite for putting my problems on Pringle. And then I hear her calling him, saying that she's going to kill herself. So then I call her, and I start going off on her and telling her to get out of our lives because she's just making our lives worse. Our lives were so good and perfect before she entered it. And there was a moment when I wanted to tell her that she should just go and off herself, but that is not the right thing to do, so I didn't.
Thank you.
Even though out of all my rage for Pringle's emotions and mine, I wanted to yell it, but it didn't seem like the right thing to do. So she left, and ever since then, I stopped, because I did have a problem with lying. I'd lied to make myself feel better. I lied to protect myself from controversies and problems. And I haven't really lied. Some white lies come out whenever I'm scared or whenever I'm worried, but I don't lie anymore to make myself look good because my life is boring. I don't have anything to lie about. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I went to the forest and I hiked because I feel adventurous and brave. Like, I don't, like, my life is just the average Joe. I go to school, go to the gym, go to my computer, walk my dog, and hang out with you guys, and that's really it. But after breaking up with her, I thought, like, I don't know, like, my heart, I couldn't be away from her. And then after a week or so passing, I felt better. And, like, then Edward and I started talking again, and he made me feel better. But I was going through a terrible state. And I couldn't even play the same games that her and I played together. Dead by Daylight, my favorite game, is no longer my favorite game because of her. Whenever I play it, I think of her, and it hurts me. Same thing with Smite. And, I don't know. She really damaged me. But thanks to her, I'm in a better place, and I've found the flaws in me that I'm trying to work on. So if it weren't for her being the person that she is and hurting me, I wouldn't be a better person right now. So I guess you can learn some stuff from relationships, even though they're terrible.
That's rough.
Not all of them will be terrible though. Like, that is, I want to assume, not, I'm not gonna say a pledge or even, sort of liberty that people have, but not all relationships are gonna be terrible. There are gonna be those good ones on before you'll find a great one, and then you'll be way along with life by then. There's still a lot to unpack with life, and I feel like it's kind of too early to be judgmental on anything, but if you do have that, like, willingness to, like, persist and just keep going with it, just allowing it to sort of go out, like, it really does get better. Like, life just goes on, time just goes on, and things happen. A lot can happen in, like, a year, even a month, so you don't know.
That's the thing too, is, like, we're babies. We really are. We're so, like, tiny compared to a lot of people that have so many more experiences than us, and we base all of our decisions off of our experiences, and we feel like all adultish and stuff, but there is merit in taking into consideration a lot of other people's thoughts, because we are teeny tiny little people who have, like, next to nothing in experience, even though we feel so experienced. So, like, yeah, we're preaching all of this stuff, but we're still, like, there's so much more to come that we're gonna discover as we grow older.
Yeah, I agree with her. Like, real talk, after Gabby, and I was like going through a lot, and I don't really talk to my dad about everything, but I started to, like, whenever I have a problem, I just go to him, and I realized that since he's my dad, him and I have gone through similar experiences, and whenever I listen to his, like, opinions, usually things go right. So whenever I have a big problem, like what happened with Emma and what happened with Madison and all these people, I go to him, and then he tells me something. He doesn't tell me what to do because that's not his place, it's my life, but he gives me an idea of a path that I can go down, and it is my choice to go down that path. And every time I do, things usually end up well and right, and I'm happy again. So I'm thankful for living with my dad, even though I do love my mom. But that's a whole different story for another podcast.
Yeah, that is definitely the we are hitting the 40-minute mark already. Crazy.
Oh boy.
I did not think we would get there. Yes, I think there's a lot to say about parental guidance, especially when it comes to certain topics like relationships. But I think the biggest one that I've had quite a problem with is mental health. But yeah, we'll definitely get to mental health on a different episode. If you guys have anything else to say about infidelity, we're gonna.
I've been running for 40 minutes. Damn.
You can send it right or say it right now before we end it. If you guys have anything else to say.
Infidelity is wrong. Burn it to the ground. Don't ever cheat on your people, or else I'll come and find you.
Facts. And on a more positive note, not relating to infidelity, but just relationships, they're not all bad. And while even the bad ones bring about good things, sometimes the good ones are just good. And we just gotta appreciate that. So, woo.
All right, and of course it's October, so happy Halloween to you all. Hope you have a safe. Well, I mean, we'll probably have another episode up before Halloween.
I hope so, because we had this.
Get that Halloweeny.
I mean, how consistently are we going to be with this podcast? That's we can
40 minutes of our life, so
we can discuss the details about it later. You guys.
New schedule is once a week every Sunday.
All right, there goes it to the red bar. All right, guys, but yeah, definitely if we don't get back to you guys, definitely have a safe Halloween. Be safe trick or treating, and always stay by a trusted adult. Don't just randomly go off.
And demons are real, so always remember why Halloween is a thing, not just because of the candy, but also religion. So anyway, good luck and don't die.
Yeah, lots of good candy. Au revoir.
Yes, and thank you for joining us again. We'll see you next time on the Med Podcast.